Today with a closer look at the current economic environment for small businesses in the area. And that conversation really needs to start with tariffs and the impact of the president's policies. The U.S. Supreme Court expected to rule soon on whether those policies are legal. Now, the White House says they are under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. During oral arguments, justices seem skeptical, but a ruling has yet to be issued here. That hasn't stopped companies, big and small, from preparing for possible tariff refunds if the court rules against the president. On Friday, Costco filed the latest lawsuit seeking to protect its right to refunds. Keep in mind, the government has collected roughly $200 billion in tariff revenue that could be eligible to be refunded if the administration loses in court. Now factor in the holiday shopping season, which is vital for many small businesses. It's why we have things like Small Business Saturday. But all those tariffs have made this holiday season a bit more challenging. Goldman Sachs reporting that through August, companies had passed on about a third of import costs due to tariffs to consumers. And in a recent survey conducted by Small Business for America's Future, over 1,000 respondents painted a concerning picture. 71% expect that tariffs will have a negative impact on consumer spending this holiday season. 44% reported raising their prices due to tariffs. And 74% expressed some level of concern about their business surviving over the next 12 months if the current economic conditions persist. So, what does all of this mean for those who help small businesses? And we welcome in Becky Partosik. She is the president and CEO of the Fox Cities Chamber of Commerce. So after all that information, Becky, I'm curious what the chamber is hearing from its members. What are you hearing from your small business members right now?
Well, it's really interesting to see what's happening right now. We have an entire team of members that go out and meet with small businesses, and the feedback from the weekend has been overwhelming. Many of the small businesses actually said that the word being out about tariffs and the impact on pricing has actually helped them because people realize the importance of shopping local and the importance of purchasing things that are made here in our country. And if you were downtown Appleton or downtown Neenah or anywhere in the Fox Cities this past weekend, even though we did not have great weather on Saturday,
right,
it actually became small business weekend. And it was hard to even get a parking spot because there were so many people downtown shopping our small businesses.
All right, that's encouraging news, and it leads me, I'm going to jump ahead to the small messaging or small business messaging that goes on. We talk about Small Business Saturday. The governor came out with his proposal. He wants local businesses, and he's going to do that throughout the month. So word of mouth is one way you measure, I'm guessing, whether this works anecdotally, but do you do any other metrics to see how that messaging is actually resonating in terms of success for these small businesses?
Well, we have to wait a few days to see what the actual national results come out to be. The initial results that I've seen nationwide, I think may be a little bit different than we're seeing locally. The first results that we've heard from the weekend were the online sales were up and that small business was down. That's not what we actually saw in person here. So It may take a little bit of time before we have that data.
You are the Chamber of the Year in 2024-2025. Congratulations on that. That obviously tells me that this has a lot to do with how you handle and work with your members for your organization. So what kinds of things do you do proactively to help the small businesses in the Fox Cities?
Well, back in 2022, we launched the first of its kind in the nation, a completely free membership model for small businesses. And that is part of the reason why out of 7,600 chambers across the country, we were named the Chamber of the Year. But with that program for small businesses that have 5 or less employees, freestanding restaurants, or nonprofits with 10 or less employees, we provide a full suite of community support for those members. And it ranges everything from discounts on your YMCA membership to discounts on your health insurance. It includes free networking opportunities, as well as 4 different sources for free small business consulting.
What's the trickle down from that? Because there is a cutoff on how small you can go to qualify for the free, but that kind of, I would imagine, effort on your part kind of draws in other businesses well to be members. What have you seen in the trickle down from launching that initiative?
Well, it's been a huge success, and as of right now, 2 years later, we are supporting 1,000 members or 1,000 small
Okay,
businesses through that program, and we're actually seeing nationwide. There's about 4% of the chambers that have followed our lead
really?
across the country, really just trying to figure out how we as a community can wrap our arms around small businesses to help them get to the next level and have a better chance of thriving.
What can you share about those conversations when other chambers reach out to you and say, hey, we saw you're doing this. How can we pull this off? How do those take place and what do those look like?
We hear from different chambers across the country almost weekly wanting to replicate what we're doing here in the Fox Cities. The first to copy us, believe it or not, was Buffalo, New York. And, they're just, first of all, they say, is this really possible? And how can you make it successful? And we just share what we're doing. And we talk about the fact that there's other ways to get small businesses involved. And quite frankly, if you look at the success of a small business, that helps attract talent that our larger employers need to help fill their open roles. So it really is about placemaking and reasons why people want to live here. And that's really driven by quality of life, which is a small business environment.
It's interesting, and I'm curious how you would evaluate this. Is this a bottom-up phenomenon or a top-down phenomenon? Because you work with small and large businesses, as you mentioned, and it does benefit those larger businesses, like you said. So is this top-down or bottom-up?
Well, I guess it's a little bit of both
Okay.
because the small businesses have a better chance of thriving and succeeding. If you look at the businesses in the Fox Cities region, there's not huge organizations that are moving in here that are the large employers. They're really the smaller organizations that have just really grown and thrived. And it doesn't matter if you're talking about Bergstrom Automotive or Plexus or Myron Construction or whoever it is, most of those large employers started as small guys
Sure.
and they just grew and grew. But that doesn't happen without the support of the community.
It also doesn't happen without the support of the chamber, and you guys are rewarded for that with that award. Becky, thanks so much for taking the time. We appreciate this perspective.
Well, thank you so much.